You are standing in the room. The air is thick, heavy with tension. Someone is coming at you. Maybe it's a boss screaming about a deadline you didn't miss. Maybe it's a family member rewriting history to make you the villain. Maybe it's a friend making a joke at your expense that cuts a little too deep just to get a laugh from the group. You aren't worried. Not yet. Because you aren't alone. He is standing right next to you. The man you trust. The man you've defended. The man who, just last night, in the safety of your kitchen, told you he agreed with you. He knows the truth. He knows you are right. He knows exactly what happened because he was there. So you turn to him. You don't even need him to fight the war for you. You just need him to nod. You just need him to say, "No, that's not how it happened." You look at him, and you wait for the defense that is surely coming. And he looks down. He shifts his weight. He clears his throat. And then, he does the one thing you never calculated. He smiles nervously at the person attacking you. He nods. He mutters something vague like, "Well, I can see both sides." Or worse, he stays completely, dead silent. He evaporates. In the exact moment you needed a witness, he decided it was safer to be a ghost. Pause. Feel that sensation in your stomach. That isn't anger. That is the floor dropping out of your reality. The betrayal doesn't come from the enemy in front of you. You expected them to bite. They're a wolf. You prepared for that. The betrayal comes from the space beside you. It comes from the man you categorized as safe. The man you labeled nice. The man you thought was harmless because he never raised his voice, never picked a fight, never made waves. You just learned the most dangerous lesson of your life. And you learned it the hard way. You realized that harmless and safe are antonyms. Later, he'll have an explanation. He always does. He'll come to you when the danger has passed, when the room is empty and the adrenaline has faded. He'll use soft words. "I just didn't want to make it worse. I hate conflict, you know that. I didn't think it was worth a fight. I was just trying to keep the peace." And you accept it. You might be angry, but you swallow it. Because he looks so pitiful. He looks so distressed. He's not malicious, you tell yourself. He's just soft. He's just a nice guy who got overwhelmed. You convince yourself that his inaction was a mistake, a glitch, a momentary lapse in judgment. Wrong. It wasn't a mistake. It was a strategy. You are dealing with the Machiavellian concept of the weak man, and he is infinitely more dangerous than the strong one. The strong man tells you he is going to hurt you. He declares war. You can see him coming from a mile away. You can build a fortress. You can arm yourself. You can prepare. The weak man is a Trojan horse built of apologies. He gets inside your defenses because he triggers your sympathy, not your fear. You lower the drawbridge because he seems like he needs protection. You invite him into your inner circle, your business, your bed, your darkest secrets. You give him the keys to the castle because you think he lacks the strength to stab me. But he doesn't need strength to destroy you. He only needs to step aside when the arrow is coming. This is the uncomfortable truth you are trying to ignore. He didn't stay silent in that room because he was confused. He stayed silent because he calculated the cost of loyalty and decided it was too expensive. He did the math. To defend you meant taking a hit. To defend you meant risking his own social standing, his own comfort, his own safety. So he paid for his safety with your reputation. He used you as a human shield. And the most twisting part? He slept fine that night. Because in his head, he didn't do anything. That's the mantra of the weak man. I didn't do anything. He believes that passivity is a loophole in the moral universe. If he didn't swing the sword, he is an A killer. He believes that watching you bleed out makes him an innocent bystander, not an accomplice. But you know the truth now. You feel it in the pit of your gut. The silence was the weapon. You look back at the relationship, the months, the years, and you start to see the cracks you painted over. The times he didn't stand up for himself, and you called it easygoing. The times he couldn't make a decision, and you called it flexible. The times he let others walk all over him, and you called it kindness. You thought those were virtues. You thought you were with a saint. You weren't. You were with a survivor. A parasite who survives by blending into the wallpaper, by never taking a stand, by flowing like water wherever the power lies. And right now, the power isn't with you. So neither is he. This isn't about him being bad in the villainous sense. He isn't twirling a mustache. He isn't plotting your demise in a dark room. That would require too much energy. That would require a spine. He is simply a creature of pure self-preservation, and a man who is consumed by the need to protect himself from the slightest discomfort has no room left to protect you. He creates a vacuum, a black hole of responsibility where you pour in your energy, your assurance, your strength, hoping to fill him up, hoping to make him stand tall. But you can't fill a bucket that has no bottom. You are standing alone in that room. The attack is over, but the wound is fresh. You look at him, and for the first time, you don't see the nice guy. You see the danger. You see the capability for absolute betrayal hidden behind a shy smile. Machiavelli warned us about this centuries ago. He warned that the most unstable element in any system is the man who cannot command himself. Because if he cannot command himself, he will be commanded by whoever scares him the most. And right now, that isn't you. You are about to find out exactly how deep this rabbit hole goes. You are about to see that this moment wasn't an isolated incident. It was a symptom of a terminal disease in his character, a disease that is going to infect everything you have built if you don't recognize the pattern. The betrayal has already happened. The only question now is, are you going to let him convince you it was an accident? It starts small. It starts with things so trivial, you feel petty for even noticing them. You're driving. You've been working all day. Your brain is fried. You ask a simple question, where should we go for dinner? And he gives you the standard line. The line that sounds like a gift. I don't mind. Whatever you want. You choose. It sounds like generosity. It sounds like he's being easygoing. He's putting your needs first, right? So you pick the place. But then you have to pick the table. Then you have to decide if you're sharing an appetizer. Then you have to decide when it's time to leave. You are the captain of the ship. He is just the passenger. At first, you like it. You like having things your way. But then the pattern bleeds into the things that actually matter. A crisis hits. The car breaks down on the side of the highway in the pouring rain. Or a letter comes from the IRS. Or the landlord threatens eviction. The adrenaline spikes. You look at him, waiting for the masculine instinct to kick in, waiting for him to say, I've got this. Stay in the car. But he doesn't move. He looks at you. His eyes go wide. He holds the letter like it's a bomb he doesn't know how to defuse. What do you think we should do? He asks. And there it is. The transfer. In that split second, he has taken the entire weight of the situation, the fear, the logistics, the consequences, and he has physically handed it to you. He has outsourced the anxiety. He isn't your partner in the crisis. He is another child you have to manage while you solve the crisis. So you step up. You make the call. You negotiate the debt. You change the tire in the rain while he holds the flashlight, looking helpful, but useless. And afterwards, he praises you. You're so good at handling things. I wouldn't have known what to do. You're just stronger than me. He flatters you into slavery. This is the anatomy of indecision. And it is not a personality quirk. It is a survival mechanism. This is weaponized incompetence. By refusing to make a decision, he inoculates himself against failure. Think about the logic. It's brilliant in a twisted way. If he chooses the restaurant and the food is bad, it's his fault. If he chooses the route and you get stuck in traffic, it's his fault. If he handles the finances and the investment crashes, he is the villain. But if he forces you to choose, then he is safe. He is the innocent bystander. If things go wrong, he gets to say, "Well, I wasn't sure about it, but you insisted." He gets to critique the outcome of a decision he was too cowardly to make. You start to feel a specific kind of exhaustion. It's not physical tired. It's soul tired. It's the exhaustion of decision fatigue. You realize that you are carrying the cognitive load for two adults. You are the CEO of the relationship, and he is the intern who keeps asking where the printer paper is. You start to resent him. You catch yourself snapping at him for small things. You stop asking for his opinion because you know the answer is going to be a shrug. You just do it yourself. It's faster. It's easier. And this is the trap. Because you are taking charge, you start to look like the controlling one. To the outside world, you look high-strung. You look intense. You're always organizing, always directing, always stressing. And he looks chill. He looks relaxed. He's the nice guy who just goes with the flow. People say to you, "You're so lucky he's so easy to be with." And you want to scream. You want to scream that he's easy because he's dead weight. You want to scream that the only reason the boat is moving is because you have been rowing for two people for 5 years. But you don't scream. You just keep rowing. You start to lose respect for him. It's involuntary. Biology is cruel. It doesn't care about modern politeness. Deep down, a part of you craves a competence that equals your own. You want to be able to fall back and know someone will catch you. But you know if you fall back now, you'll hit the concrete. So you harden. You develop a shell. You become more masculine, more rigid, more decisive. You kill the soft parts of yourself because they aren't safe here. And he watches this happen. He watches you become harder. And he starts to feel like a victim. He starts to tell his friends that you're difficult or demanding. He plays the henpecked martyr. "She's just so particular about everything," he says, with a self-deprecating laugh. He omits the part where he forced you to be particular because he refused to be competent. This is the cycle of the weak man. He creates a vacuum of leadership, forces you to fill it, and then resents you for the power you had to take. He turns you into the mother he never grew up from. And the most dangerous part? You let it happen because you thought you were just handling it. You didn't realize that every time you made a decision he refused to make, you were signing a contract. "I agree to be the only adult in this room." And that contract is binding. Until you burn it. You told yourself a story to make it make sense. You told yourself that his weakness was actually a form of purity. "He's not aggressive," you said. "He's gentle." "He's not controlling," you said. "He's supportive." You looked at the bad boys of your past, the ones who shouted, the ones who slammed doors, the ones who cheated openly, and you thought you had found the cure. You thought that because he didn't have the stomach for violence, you were safe. This is the most dangerous illusion you will ever hold. You need to understand the physics of a weak man. He is not a rock. He is a weather vane. A rock stays where it is, regardless of the wind. A weather vane spins. It points wherever the strongest gust forces it to point. And right now, you are realizing that you built your house on a spinning foundation. Think about what it actually means when he can't say no. It sounds polite. It sounds accommodating. But a man who cannot say no to the world is physically incapable of saying a true yes to you. His yes is worthless. It's counterfeit currency. He says yes to you because you are standing in front of him. But 5 minutes later, his mother calls. She demands his time. She crosses a boundary. And he says yes to her, too. Then his boss calls. Demands he work late on your anniversary. He says yes. Then his friends call. They want to go to that bar you hate. He says yes. He has promised the same piece of himself to 5 different people. And when the bill comes due, when he actually has to deliver, he panics. He realizes he's overdrawn. And who does he disappoint? Who does he shortchange? He disappoints you. Why? Because you are the one who loves him. You are the safe one. He knows you will forgive him. He knows his mother will scream. He knows his boss will fire him. He knows his friends will mock him. But you'll just be sad. You'll just be disappointed. So he sacrifices you. Every single time. He feeds you to the wolves to save his own skin. Not because he wants to hurt you, but because he is terrified of them. This is the gut punch realization. He isn't loyal. He is just submissive to whoever is currently applying the most pressure. If you are the loudest voice in the room, he mirrors you. But the second you leave and someone else walks in, someone with a stronger frame, a louder voice, a more dominant will, he mirrors them. He nods along with their jokes. He agrees with their opinions. He tolerates their disrespect toward you. You've seen this happen. You're at a party. Someone makes a snide comment about you. A subtle dig. You freeze. You wait for your partner to step in, to draw the line. But he laughs. He laughs an awkward, nervous laugh. He validates the disrespect. And later, when you confront him, he says, I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to make a scene. He would rather let you be humiliated than endure 10 seconds of social awkwardness. That is not kindness. That is cowardice weaponized as neutrality. And it gets darker. This is why weak men are the most dangerous cheaters. A strong man cheats because he wants to. He hunts. You can catch a hunter. A weak man cheats because he couldn't figure out how to leave a conversation. A woman showed him attention. She was aggressive. She moved in. He didn't want to be rude. He didn't want to reject her. He felt flattered that someone else validated him. He let it happen because stopping it would require a hard conversation. It would require a no. And before he knows it, he's destroyed your life. Not out of malice, but out of drift. This is the terrifying truth about the harmless man. He destroys you by accident. He destroys you through negligence. He creates chaos simply because he refuses to impose order on his own life. You are realizing that you are safer with a monster than with a mouse. A monster has a code. Even if it's a bad one, it's predictable. A monster might attack you, but he won't let anyone else attack you because you belong to him. A mouse belongs to everyone. A mouse belongs to the cat that corners it. You are looking at him now, and the niceness looks different. It looks like a lack of integrity. It looks like a void. You realize that unless a man is capable of being dangerous, unless he has the capacity to show teeth, his virtue is just a lack of opportunity. He isn't good. He's just harmless. And harmless men get people killed. Niccolò Machiavelli is the most misunderstood man in history. You think he wrote the book on how to be evil? Wrong. He wrote the book on how to survive reality. He didn't write The Prince for tyrants. He wrote it for people who wanted to build stability in a world of chaos. And his harshest warning wasn't about the cruel man. It was about the weak one. Machiavelli had a specific rule that explains exactly why your relationship feels like you're trying to build a castle on quicksand. He wrote, "A prince who is not wise himself cannot be wisely advised." Read that again. You have been trying to advise him for years. You have been trying to fix him. You give him books. You send him podcasts. You write out plans. You sit him down and say, if you just do X, Y, and Z, everything will get better. And he nods. He agrees. He says, you're right. I'll do it. And for 3 days, he does it. Then he stops. You think he stops because he's lazy. You think he stops because he forgot. No, he stops because he lacks the internal infrastructure to hold the structure you are giving him. You are trying to install software on a computer that has no hard drive. Machiavelli understood that a man without his own core, without his own virtue, drive, spirit, power, is useless. It doesn't matter how good your advice is. It doesn't matter how much you support him. If he cannot generate his own force, he will eventually resent you for trying to push him. The weak man despises the middle path, but he lives there. Machiavelli hated neutrality. He argued that you must be either a true friend or a true enemy. The middle ground is where you die. He who is not with me is against me. But the weak man, he lives in the gray. He refuses to declare a side. He won't fight for you, but he won't leave you. He won't commit to the job, but he won't quit. He won't fix the problem, but he won't admit it's broken. This state of limbo is more destructive than war. In war, you know where the lines are drawn. In limbo, you slowly go insane trying to find the line. You are dealing with a man who believes that if he stands still long enough, the storm will pass. But Machiavelli knew that fortune is a woman in the archaic sense, meaning life is unpredictable, chaotic, and wild, and it crushes those who hesitate. It is better to be impetuous than cautious, he wrote. Why? Because the world respects momentum. The world bends to the man who moves. Your man doesn't move. He waits. He waits for permission. He waits for the right time. He waits for you to make it safe. But safety is a myth. And by waiting, he invites disaster. When a leader or a partner is weak, it creates a power vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. So what happens? Chaos rushes in to fill the void. Because he didn't fix the roof when it was sunny, because he was tired, because he didn't want to deal with it, the roof collapses when it rains. Because he didn't discipline the children, because he wanted to be the cool dad, the children run wild and lose respect for him. Because he didn't confront the issue with his family now openly disrespects you. His weakness is not passive. It is an active generator of chaos. You need to understand the historical mechanism here. Weak kings were always more dangerous than tyrants. A tyrant might kill his enemies, but he kept the roads safe. He kept the currency stable. He maintained order. A weak king? Under a weak king, the roads were overrun by bandits. The currency collapsed. The borders were breached. Everyone suffered. The bandits, the nobles, the peasants. Everyone paid the price for the king's inability to be strong. You are living in a kingdom with a weak king. And look at your life. Is it orderly? Or are you constantly putting out fires that he lets smolder? Are you constantly dealing with bandits, people taking advantage of your time, your money, your energy, because he forgot to lock the gate? The uncomfortable truth is that you are doing the job of the prince. You are the one securing the borders. You are the one balancing the books. You are the one making the hard calls. But you don't get the title. You don't get the respect. You just get the work. And he gets to sit on the throne, smiling, telling everyone how lucky he is to have a partner who handles everything. He isn't a partner. He is a dependent. And as Machiavelli warned, the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Look around you. Look at the chaos. That is the reflection of the man you chose. You think he is grateful. This is the logic trap you are stuck in. You think, I helped him. I saved him. I stood by him when no one else would. Therefore, he must love me deeply. You think you are building a reservoir of goodwill. You think you are banking loyalty. You are wrong. You are banking resentment. Welcome to the resentment engine. This is the dark psychological mechanism that turns a weak man into a covert enemy. Here is the uncomfortable math of the male ego. A man cannot truly love a woman he depends on for his survival. He can need her. He can use her. He can cling to her. But he cannot respect her, and he cannot love her. Why? Because every time you save him, you are holding up a mirror that says, you couldn't do this. Every time you pay the bill he couldn't cover, every time you handle the conflict he avoided, every time you fix the mess he made, you are humiliating him. You don't mean to. You think you are being a partner. You think you are being a team. But he doesn't see a teammate. He sees a witness to his inadequacy. And human beings hate witnesses. So, he has to change the narrative. He has to rewrite reality to protect his fragile ego. He can't admit that you are competent and he is not. That would destroy him. So he invents a new story. In this new story, you aren't competent. You are controlling. You aren't helpful. You are condescending. You aren't strong. You are emasculating. Watch how the language shifts. In the beginning, it was, thank you so much. I don't know what I'd do without you. Now, 3 years later, it is, stop acting like my mother. I was going to do it. You just never give me a chance. Hear that? That is the sound of resentment bubbling over. He frames your competence as an attack on his freedom. He frames your solution as an insult to his intelligence. He starts to punish you for being right. You warn him about a bad friend. That guy is using you, you say? He gets defensive. You're just jealous. You don't want me to have friends. Then, 6 months later, the friend betrays him exactly as you predicted. Does he come to you and say, you were right? No. He gets angry at you. He picks a fight about the dishes. He picks a fight about the tone of your voice. Why? Because you saw it. Because you knew better. And his shame is so unbearable that he has to project it onto you. He has to make you the bad guy, so he doesn't have to feel like the fool. This is why weak men are masters of passive-aggressive sabotage. He won't tell you to stop succeeding, but he will conveniently forget to tell you about a message that came for you. He won't tell you he hates your new job, but he will make you feel guilty every time you work late, sighing loudly, moping around the house, making you feel like your ambition is hurting the family. He is trying to bring you down to his level. If he cannot rise to meet you, he must drag you down to meet him. It is the crab bucket mentality, but it's in your own bed. He needs you to be weak so he can feel strong by comparison. If you are anxious, he can say, calm down, you're overreacting. If you are sick, he can play the nurse. If you are struggling, he feels useful. But when you are winning, when you are soaring, he feels invisible, and he hates it. So he starts chipping away at your confidence. Are you sure you can handle that promotion? You've been looking really tired lately. Maybe you should slow down. I just miss the old you, before you were so obsessed with your passion. He disguises his sabotage as concern. He disguises his envy as love. But the goal is always the same, to clip your wings. Because if you can fly, you might fly away. And if you fly away, who is going to carry him? You need to see this dynamic for what it is. He isn't fighting with you. He is fighting against his own reflection in your eyes. And the stronger you are, the more he hates what he sees. You are waiting for him to grow up and thank you. He is waiting for you to fail so he can finally feel like the man. There is a specific sentence that acts as a get-out-of-jail-free card. A sentence that shuts down every argument, silences every standard, and makes you look like a monster for simply wanting things to be done. I'm trying. He says it with a crack in his voice. He says it with slumped shoulders. I'm trying my best. Why isn't that enough for you? And you freeze. The anger in your throat dies. Because if you keep pushing, you aren't a partner asking for help. You're a bully kicking a puppy. So you back down. You sigh. You say, I know you are. I'm sorry. And you go do the task yourself. Welcome to the tyranny of the pitiful. This is the first deep dive into the specific mechanics of his danger. This is weaponized incompetence. It is the strategic art of being useless so that no one ever asks you to be useful again. Look at the pattern. You ask him to handle the grocery shopping. A simple adult task. He comes back. He forgot the 3 main ingredients for dinner. He bought the wrong brand of milk, the one you've said you're allergic to 5 times. He spent double the budget on snacks. You look at the bags. You feel the frustration rising. How did you forget the chicken? I wrote it on the list. And here comes the performance. He looks devastated. He looks panicked. I'm sorry, the store was so crowded, I got anxious. I just wanted to get out of there. I can't do anything right. I'm just stupid. He insults himself before you can critique him. This is a defense mechanism. By preemptively attacking himself, I'm stupid, I'm useless, he forces you to switch roles. You can't be the angry partner anymore. You have to become the reassuring mother. No, you're not stupid. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. You end up comforting him for his failure to help you. Do you see the brilliance of the trap? He messed up the task. You are doing the work anyway. And you are emotionally servicing him to make him feel better about it. He lost nothing. You lost everything. Time, money, and emotional energy. And the lesson he learned? If I do a bad job, she won't ask me to do it next time. He is training you. He is training you to lower your standards. He is training you to believe that he is incapable of basic adult functioning. But ask yourself, is he incompetent at work? Is he incompetent at his hobbies? When he's playing that video game, does he miss the details? When he's researching the fantasy football stats, does he get confused? No. He has focus. He has precision. He has memory. He only loses his cognitive abilities when it serves him. He is smart enough to play dumb. This creates a dynamic where you become the nag. You hate that word, but you feel it happening. You have to repeat yourself 5 times. You have to write detailed instructions like you're leaving notes for a babysitter. You have to check his work. And he uses this against you. You're always hovering. You don't trust me. I would trust you if you remembered to pay the electric bill. You want to scream. But you don't. Because he looks so fragile. This is why the weak man is dangerous. He forces you to become a tyrant just to get basic survival needs met. You didn't want to be the person who controls the finances. You didn't want to be the person who dictates the schedule. You wanted a partner. But you can't have a partner who acts like a child. Someone has to drive the car. Someone has to keep it on the road. So you take the wheel. You grip it until your knuckles turn white. And he sits in the passenger seat, fiddling with the radio, complaining that you're driving too fast, complaining that the mood is tense. He drains your softness. You cannot be feminine, relaxed, or playful when you are constantly monitoring a grown man to make sure he doesn't accidentally burn the house down. You have to be rigid. You have to be sharp. And then he complains that you aren't fun anymore. You used to be so chill, he says. He killed the chill girl. He killed her with 1,000 tiny moments of incompetence. He killed her by forcing her to become the manager of his life. And the most twisting part? He believes he is the victim. He believes you are impossible to please. He tells his friends, "Man, she's just always on my case. Nothing is ever good enough." He doesn't tell them that good enough meant simply doing what he said he would do. He omits the context. He harvests their sympathy. He is a vampire who feeds on your patience. And when your patience runs dry, and you finally snap, when you finally yell, when you finally cry, he looks at you with wide, innocent eyes and says, "Whoa, why are you so crazy?" He lit the fuse. He watched it burn. And now he's acting surprised by the explosion. Most people think a liar is someone who looks you in the eye and tells you a story that isn't true. I was at work. He was at the bar. I didn't spend the money. He did. But that requires effort. That requires construction. That requires a specific kind of boldness. The weak man doesn't lie like that. He doesn't have the stomach for the direct fabrication. He lies by deletion. He lies by omission. He lies by letting you believe a reality that he knows is false, simply because correcting you would be awkward. This is the silent lie, and it is infinitely harder to catch than the spoken one. Let's look at the anatomy of this betrayal. You are at the grocery store. You have a cart full of food for the week. There is a line of people behind you. You slide your card. Declined. You frown. You try it again. Declined. The cashier is looking at you. The people behind you are shifting, sighing. You feel the heat rising in your neck. You turn to him. "Do we have money in the account? Did the transfer go through?" And he looks at you. He looks confused. He taps his pockets. I thought so. Maybe there's a hold on it." He is acting surprised. But later, when you dig into the bank app, you see it. The overdraft happened 3 days ago. He spent the money on something stupid. Or he forgot to deposit the check. He knew. He knew before you walked into the store. He knew before you filled the cart. He knew while you were standing in line. But he didn't say anything. Why? Because telling you at home meant facing a conflict. Telling you meant dealing with your anger right then. So he gambled. He hoped the card might magically work. He hoped the universe would save him. He kicked the can down the road until the can exploded in your face. He let you walk into a humiliation to buy himself 3 more hours of peace. He traded your dignity for his comfort. "I just didn't want to worry you." That is his favorite line. Memorize it. When you confront him about the hidden debt, the letter from the landlord, the message from the ex-girlfriend, he will always say, "I handled it. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to stress you out." He frames his deception as protection. He wants credit for being a martyr. He wants you to think he was carrying the burden alone to save you. Wrong. He wasn't protecting you from stress. He was protecting himself from your reaction. He was robbing you of the information you needed to make decisions. This is why the weak man is a saboteur of reality. To navigate life, you need a map. You need to know where the cliffs are. You need to know where the mines are buried. He has the map, but he won't show it to you because he's afraid you'll yell at him for where the mines are located. So he lets you walk blindly into the field. Think about the social cost. You're going to dinner with his family. You're excited. You've bought gifts. You're trying to impress them. You talk all night. You laugh. You share stories. You think it went great. On the drive home, you say, "I think your mom really likes me." He nods. "Yeah, totally." 6 months later, you find out the truth. You find out his mother has been trashing you for months. She hates your job. She hates how you dress. She's been poisoning the well since day one. And he knew. He sat there at that dinner, watching you try, watching you be vulnerable, knowing they were mocking you behind their smiles. And he said nothing. He didn't warn you. He didn't say, "Hey, heads up, my mom is judgmental about careers. Maybe don't bring up the promotion." He let you walk into the ambush. Why? Because warning you would mean admitting he has a difficult mother. It would mean having a negative conversation. It is easier for him to let you look like a fool than for him to have an uncomfortable 10 minutes. This is the conflict avoidance paradox. By avoiding the small conflict, telling you the truth, he creates a massive catastrophe, the destruction of your trust. He won't stab you in the chest. That's too aggressive. He'll just watch you drink the poison. He'll watch you drink it, and he'll hold your hand. And when you get sick, he'll say, "I had no idea." You cannot build a life with a man who edits reality. You are the captain of the ship, but your navigator is blindfolding himself because he doesn't want to see the storm. Machiavelli warned that a prince must demand the truth, no matter how ugly. There is no other way to guard yourself against flattery than by making men understand that telling you the truth will not offend you. But your man is offended by the truth. He is terrified of it. So he lives in a fantasy. And he forces you to live there too, right up until the moment reality crashes through the door and evicts you both. Who is he? Do you actually know? If you strip away your influence, if you strip away his mother's influence, if you strip away his friends, what is left? You are about to discover that under the layers of adaptation, there is no core. You are dealing with the chameleon effect. The weak man does not have a self. He has a reflection. He is a mirror that shows whoever is standing in front of him exactly what they want to see. When he is with you, he is the sensitive, progressive partner who believes in your dreams. When he is with his boys, he is the cynical joker who laughs at relationships. When he is with his religious parents, he is the devout son. When he is with his liberal boss, he is the activist. He isn't lying to any of them. He becomes them. He flows like water into the shape of the container he is currently in. And because you are the container he spends the most time in, you think he is yours. You think you know his shape. But watch what happens when the container changes. Watch what happens when he meets someone new. Someone with strong opinions, someone with charisma, someone with power. Suddenly, he starts using their words. He starts adopting their mannerisms. He starts agreeing with ideas he mocked yesterday. I was talking to Dave, and he made a really good point about. And he recites a philosophy that is the exact opposite of what you stand for. This is why you can never truly trust him. Trust requires consistency. Consistency requires a backbone. It requires a man who can say, "This is who I am, and this is what I believe," even when the room disagrees with him. Your man cannot do that. If the room disagrees with him, he changes his belief. This makes him dangerous because he is easily weaponized against you. If a malicious person gets his ear, a manipulative friend, a jealous relative, a toxic coworker, that person can rewrite his programming. They can convince him that you are the problem. She's controlling you, man. You don't need to take that from her. You deserve better. Because he has no internal compass, he believes them. He absorbs their conviction because he has none of his own. You will come home one day and find a stranger sitting on your couch. A stranger who looks like him but speaks with someone else's voice. He will attack you with arguments he didn't write. He will fight you with anger he borrowed. You are not fighting him. You are fighting the last person who spoke to him. Machiavelli warned about the prince who relies on mercenaries. Mercenaries and auxiliaries are useless and dangerous. They have no love or other motive to keep them in the field beyond a little pay, which is not enough to make them ready to die for you. Your partner is a mercenary of the soul. He has no loyalty to the flag. He fights for whoever makes him feel safest in the moment. Right now, you make him feel safe, so he is on your side. But the moment the tide turns, The moment defending you becomes risky? The moment being with you costs him social capital? He will switch uniforms. He will distance himself from you in public. Yeah, she can be a little intense sometimes, he'll say to the group, throwing you under the bus to bond with them. He will apologize to others for your behavior. Sorry about her. She's just had a long day. He is buying his acceptance with your reputation. This is the ultimate instability. You are building a life with a man who stands for nothing. And a man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. You want to believe that deep down, in his heart of hearts, he is the man you love. But the uncomfortable truth is that there is no deep down. There are only surface layers. Peel away the onion, and you don't find a diamond. You find air. He is a ghost. And you cannot hold on to a ghost. You can try. You can hug him tighter. You can scream louder. You can try to pin him down with logic and love. But he will just slip through your fingers, drift to the next person, and take their shape. And you will be left wondering, did I ever really know him? The answer is no. Because there was no him to know. There was only the reflection of your own hope projected onto a blank screen. We have spent 8 acts dissecting him. We have put his weakness under a microscope. We have analyzed his silence, his indecision, his lies. But now, we have to do the hardest thing in this entire video. We have to turn the camera around. We have to look at you. Because he didn't break into your house. He didn't kidnap you. You invited him in. You gave him the keys. You chose him. And you need to ask yourself the question that keeps you awake at 3 a.m. Why? Why did you choose a man who cannot lead? Why did you choose a man who requires you to be the mother, the manager, and the heavy lifter? Here is the uncomfortable truth. You chose him because he felt safe. You have been burned before. You have dated the bad boy. You have dated the narcissist who gaslit you, the cheater who broke you, the tyrant who controlled you. You know what dangerous looks like when it wears a leather jacket. So you ran to the opposite end of the spectrum. You found a man who was soft. You found a man who was agreeable. You found a man who looked at you with big, puppy dog eyes and said, "Whatever you want, babe." And you exhaled. You thought, finally, a man who won't hurt me, a man I can trust. But there was a shadow side to that choice. Deep down, in the parts of your psychology you don't talk about at brunch, you liked that he was weak. Why? Because a weak man is controllable. A weak man isn't going to challenge you. He isn't going to call you out on your bullshit. He isn't going to leave you because he needs you. There is a seduction in being the strong one. It feels good to be the smartest person in the room. It feels good to be the one who saves the day. It feeds your ego to be the competent savior. He would be lost without me, you say to your friends, rolling your eyes. But secretly, you love that he would be lost. Because if he is lost without you, he can never leave you. You traded respect for security. You made a covert contract. I will take care of everything, and in exchange, you will never hurt me. But that contract is void. Because, as we have learned, his weakness does hurt you. It hurts you differently than the tyrant, but it hurts you just as deeply. The tyrant breaks your heart. The weak man breaks your spirit. And here is the other uncomfortable truth. You are enabling him. Every time you fix his mess, you teach him he doesn't have to be careful. Every time you make the decision he is too scared to make, you teach him he doesn't have to think. Every time you accept his, "I'm sorry, I'm just not good at this," you validate his incompetence. You are not just a victim of his weakness. You are the architect of it. You are overfunctioning, which forces him to underfunction. It is a seesaw. The higher you rise in responsibility, the lower he sinks into passivity. You are waiting for him to step up. But why would he? You have made it so comfortable for him to stay down. You have created a life where he gets all the benefits of an adult relationship with none of the responsibilities. He gets a partner, a home, a status, a sex life. And the only price he has to pay is listening to you complain sometimes. That is a great deal for him. Why would he change? He won't change until the dynamic changes. And the dynamic won't change until you stop being the safety net. But you are terrified to drop the net. You are terrified that if you stop rowing the boat will sink. And you are right. It might. But you are also terrified of something else. You are terrified that if he actually became strong, if he actually developed a spine, if he actually became capable, he might not need you anymore. He might outgrow you. He might realize he has options. So you stay in the trap. You complain about his weakness, but you feed it. You hate the dynamic, but you protect it. Because the only thing scarier than a man who needs you too much is a man who doesn't need you at all. This is the Machiavellian pivot. You have to realize that you cannot have it both ways. You cannot have a man who is a killer in the world but a teddy bear in the kitchen. You cannot have a man who commands respect from others but submits to you. Strength is a holistic trait. If you want a king, you have to be willing to resign as the queen mother. You have to look in the mirror and decide what you actually want. Do you want a partner? Or do you want a project? Because right now, you're dating a project. And projects don't love you back. They just consume your resources until you are empty. This brings us to the final reckoning. The moment where you have to stop analyzing the darkness and decide what to do with it. You have been operating under a false definition of goodness. You were raised to believe that good means nice. You were told that good means harmless. You were told that the man who never raises his voice, never gets angry, and never creates conflict is the ideal. That is a lie. A rabbit is not virtuous because it doesn't eat you. A rabbit doesn't eat you because it can't. It lacks the hardware. It lacks the claws. It lacks the teeth. Its peacefulness is not a moral choice. It is a biological necessity. It is harmless. And harmless men are not good men. They are just weak men. A good man is a monster who has things under control. A good man is a man who could destroy you, who could ruin you, who could bring the world to its knees, but chooses not to. He has the sword, but he keeps it sheathed. That is the definition of meekness in the biblical sense. It is not weakness. It is power under control. You don't want a rabbit. You want a wolf who has been disciplined. Because when the real wolves come to your door, and they will come, the rabbit will run. The rabbit will offer you up as a sacrifice to save itself. Only the disciplined wolf can stand between you and the chaos. So here is your binary choice. You are standing at the crossroads of your life. Option A, you stay in the pattern. You keep accepting the I'm sorry. You keep fixing the messes. You keep playing the manager. And I can tell you exactly what your future looks like. 10 years from now, the resentment will have eaten you alive. The intimacy will be dead, because you cannot sleep with a man you do not respect. You will be his mother, his secretary, and his nurse. And he will hate you for it. He will cheat on you with someone who doesn't know he's a failure, just to feel a spark of ego. You will die a slow, comfortable death of the soul. Option B, you break the contract. You stop saving him. This is the most terrifying thing you will ever do. You let the ball drop. You let the check bounce. You let him miss the deadline. You let him face the humiliation of his own incompetence. You hand him back his own life. You look him in the eye and you say, I am not doing this anymore. I need a partner, not a dependent. Figure it out. And then you watch. This is the ultimate test. One of two things will happen. Scenario 1. The shock wakes him up. He realizes you are serious. He realizes he is about to lose the best thing in his life. The fear of losing you ignites his dormant masculinity. He scrambles. He fails. He tries again. He starts to build a spine. It will be messy, but he will grow. Scenario 2, he collapses. He blames you. He calls you cruel. He spirals. He proves, once and for all, that he is incapable of survival without a host. And if that happens, you walk away. You walk away because you understand Machiavelli's final lesson. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Right now, he loves you as much as he can, but he does not fear losing you. He thinks you are a fixture. He thinks you will never leave because you are nice. You need to show him that you are not just nice. You are dangerous. You are dangerous because you have standards. You are dangerous because you have self-respect. You are dangerous because you are willing to walk into the fire alone, rather than stay in the comfort of a burning house. The weak man fears nothing more than a woman who knows her worth. Because a woman who knows her worth requires a man who can afford her. And right now, his account is empty. Stop filling it for him. Stop apologizing for his poverty of spirit. Demand the monster. Demand the competence. Demand the danger. Because if he cannot be dangerous to the world, he will eventually be dangerous to you. The intervention is over. The choice is yours.